Do I have volume, Melissa?
I'll be home for Christmas.
Is the master up? Check one. Hey, here we go. Here we go. Hi, everybody. Here we go.
I'll be home for Christmas. You can count on me. Please have snow and mistletoe and presents on the tree. Christmas Eve will find me where the love lights gleam. I'll be home for Christmas if only my dreams. I'll be home for Christmas if only my dreams, if only my dreams.
Our chalice lighting words are from Lisa Doge. Why a flaming chalice? The question comes. It's the cup of life, we answer, a cup of blessings overflowing, a cup of water to quench our spirit's thirst, a cup of wine for celebration and dedication, the flame of truth, the fire of purification, oil for anointing, healing, out of chaos, fear, and horror. Thus was the symbol crafted a generation ago. So may it be for us. In these days of uncertainty, sorrow, and rage, and a light to warm our souls and guide us home.
Thank you, Jean. Good morning. I'm Jeff Chard. Even though I forgot to put my name tag on, thank you so much. It is good to be together. It may be colder outside than we prefer. Here inside this church, we warm our hearts with the warmth of community, with the sharing of personal connection, with the recognition of our common values and our individual uniqueness. And this is much more than acceptance. It is a celebration of the unique contributions each of us brings to this community. Again, we acknowledge the ancestors of the land on which our church is built, the Oneida and the Mohawk, the first people of the Haudenosaunee Confederacy. Welcome, welcome all. Reverend Karen was expecting to be with us. You'll see we made a special program with a special teddy bear on the cover and everything for Reverend Karen. She was expecting to be here right up until Friday night when An AFib regular heartbeat issue caused her to spend an overnight at Wynn. Reverend Karen this morning says, I am home now with my heart very happily returned to normal rhythm. I continue on the curious road of healing. Look forward to seeing you on Christmas Eve. And that's at 7 p.m., the Christmas Eve service. So, our own former church school kid, Reverend Randy Becker, recorded a sermon for us yesterday afternoon. He'll be appearing on the large screen in a while. On my personal list of profound ministers, there's no one I regard more highly than Randy. I called him, he responded right away, so we can look forward to that. Following this morning's service, we invite children and adults to help prepare amaryllis bulbs for holiday sharing. We have volunteers who will deliver those potted bulbs to those who cannot or do not attend regularly. And that'll happen across the hall, following coffee and cookies and cheese or whatever's on the table. Always a particularly fun activity for kids. Did I say everything that needs to be said, Paul? And Tammy, thank you. So don't run out at the end of the service. Lots of good things going on here after that. Holiday party this Thursday, 6:30 p.m., our second annual. Worship team invites you to our second annual UU holiday celebration with refreshments, entertainment, festive crafts, and cookie decorating for the kids. Save room for dessert. There's no admission charge, but your donations will benefit Bubba's Beds for Shelter Friends. That's Matt and Julie Ambrose's nonprofit organization. They work on that year around. So on this one day, we're going to see if we can help them with some donations during our holiday party. By the way, that organization supplies beds for dogs and cats in shelters throughout North America and especially in New York State. And didn't you do some in Mexico too, I think? Puerto Rico, okay, north and south and here. Holiday party, Thursday, 6:30 to 8 p.m. Holiday music from Soulshine, that's me and Betsy, from Melissa, from Bob Umidi, and friends. If you'd like to join in with a song or a story, it's still not too late to say, hey, Jeff, I could do something. Or help out with the party, or bring refreshments. Are we supposed to talk to Mary McGurl about refreshments, or not this activity? Okay, talk to me. Desserts, cookies, please talk to me. And talking about those holiday crafts, Barbara Lindsley, come on up. Barbara has a craft for Thursday night.
I tried to do this last year, and some of the kids came in and made absolutely beautiful cards and then left without them. So this year I have made it quite simple. I have already punched out and gotten things ready. And if you want to come back and put some together, all you have to do is bring your imagination and hopefully some Elmer's glue, because I don't have enough glue to go around.
And then you can give that card to somebody or keep it for yourself. And that's for kids of all ages. Right, Barbara? Yes. Okay. Ian's group, Saturday morning, yes, 10 a.m. See Jack Pendrak if you want to know more about that. Mary McGurl, come on up.
Thanks, Jeff. Kind of camping on what Jeff said in his opening remarks. The give and take of participation is how we have a sense of belonging to one another, how we build our connection, how we build our relationships, and it's how our community thrives. Well, the nurturing activity of occasionally providing refreshments for coffee hour or serving to greet folks as they enter our space on Sunday mornings, that may be just the opportunity that you need to be in relationship with all of our members. So if you've never done it before, please see me. I can give you the scoop on it about the coffee hour, or see Letty about greeting for more information. We do need somebody for next Sunday. We have no volunteers for coffee hour for next Sunday. For Christmas Eve, everybody's invited to bring something. December 29th, I know we're going to have some latkes from Melissa, but we need somebody else to volunteer on the 29th to do the rest of the coffee hour stuff. And then we'll start the next year with a nice blank slate that looks kind of familiar to everybody. Thank you.
It's a great way to get everybody to know who you are. Don't we all want people to know who we are? So, Melissa, come on up. We're going to have hymn 1009 from the Teal hymn book, and Melissa's got a thing going here.
Also invite up my helpers. Okay, so this is a meditation on breathing. It has 3 parts. So we're going to quickly learn all 3 parts. They're very easy, and there's one really easy one. And then y'all are gonna pick the part you like the most after we do that and do it all together. So I'm not even gonna split you into sections. Learn the parts, sing along, pick the one that you think fits with you. I've got people on all the parts up here. We're gonna start with the easiest part, which is intended for the lowest voices in the room. So Jeff's gonna give me my C. And it goes, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe. All right, very good. So that part I think we got, yeah? Okay. Okay, so the next part is the top line, and it is intended for the middle voices in the room. So it goes, when I breathe in peace. When I breathe out love. When I breathe in peace. When I breathe out love. Very nice. So that's the middle part. And then the part that's actually in the middle on the page is the part that's intended for the higher voices, and they come in just a little bit after the beat. So it goes, when I breathe in peace. When I breathe out love. When I breathe in peace. When I breathe out love. All right. So we're going to build this now. So we're going to start with that lowest part. And then we're going to add the middle part, and then we're going to add the top part, and you can join in on whichever part you want, and we'll do it a few times through until I cut us off. And I mean, in the middle, if you hate the part you're on, you could switch. Nobody's going to know the difference. This is my favorite part of this, is this is a meditation. Do what feels good to you. All right, we're going to get started with that bottom part. Breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in Very nice, thank you.
Excellent, it works now. Good morning. Hi, today we're going to read The Tale of the Little Black Cloud by Karen Brow and Lori Boag. I'm getting to a place where there's no glare. There we go. You're fine. It's me who has to move. Can you still see? We headed out one fine sunny day. Right up in the sky, the clouds came to play. Amid the white clouds, soft, light, and fluffy, was a lone little cloud, dark, heavy, and snuffly. The next thing that happened, surprising to think, the little black cloud began to droop and to sink. Low, low, low. He sank deep down below till his bottom went thump on the ground with a blow. A friend sat beside asking, "Are you okay?" The little black cloud, full with so much to say. The little black cloud, feeling safe with his friend, opened his mouth to speak, and tears came instead. The friend simply listened and held the cloud tight, all the while knowing he soon would be light. He talked and he wept from his heart and his head. His friend simply listened and finally said, "I want you to know, I want you to see you are loved, you are cared for. You have a friend here in me." His friend then reached down to pick something up. Was it a bowl, a spoon, or even a cup? His friend showed him a bottle and, showing his name, whispered, "This is for tears. Now that's why I came." Tears are important. Don't toss them away. They need to come out and have their say. Those tears won't be wasted or wonder what to do. I'll collect them right here in this bottle for you. So you know I love you, and alone you'll not be. Because I love you. You're cared for. You have a friend here in me. As time went along and he shared with his friend, feeling no need to carry, as his heart was on the mend, he found without rush, scurry, hard, or big feel, his insides indeed were beginning to heal. He poured out his worries, all that kept him low. His heavies came out, his sad and lonely did go. His black became gray and then turned to white. The more he let go, the more he took flight. As he shared with his friend, he felt a lot lighter, and little by little he beamed so much brighter. The little white cloud set to lift and to fly. Higher and higher he went up in the sky. No longer heavy or glum down below, he dipped and he soared, felt his happiness grow. A day can change quickly from heavy and sad turn into sweetness and a day to be glad. If you are heavy, sad, or alone in your space, there's a friend who sits with you right here in this place. He'll collect all your tears, and that isn't the end, because you are loved, you are cared for, and never without a friend.
And we'll dedicate that one to Karen. That was actually intended to precede Karen's sermon today. So, in a minute, we're going to switch over to our hero, Randy Becker, Reverend Randy, who sat down, or stood up rather, and recorded this for us yesterday afternoon.
Hi, I'm the Reverend Randy Becker. I grew up in this congregation as a child, as a youth, so this is my home congregation in many ways. I'm glad to be with you this morning, but I'm also saddened to know that I'm here because Reverend Karen can't be here. And so I know I join you in sending healing energy her way, because I know she'd rather be here than where she is. What you see in front of you is an older Caucasian male with mustache and beard, a little bit of white hair left, brimless glasses, wearing a seasonal Nordic sweater. For pronouns, I'll take any and all. I just prefer you actually use my name. And I want to think with you this morning about this season. I know the theme for the month is presence. That's presence and not presents, as in being present, not giving presents. And I want to think about how very appropriate it is that this is the theme for this month, this time of year. Because there's so many stories that intertwine around the invitation for you to be present in many different ways, reminding us from many different religious traditions what it means to be present in any given place, any given moment. I think first of all of a story I heard back at the old Church of the Reconciliation done on Oneida Square, Universalist Unitarian, when I was in the Sunday school there in the 1950s. It's a story about how in ancient days the pagans, the people who were out in the countryside, would of course be fearful at this time of year when the sun seems absent, each day gets shorter, and there's a great wish for the sun to return. And so they would often set up camps on top of the highest mountains around them, and they'd wait for the appearance of the sun coming earlier one day than it had any other day recently. And then when that solstice sun would rise, the people at the easternmost point would light a giant signal fire, a bonfire, a fire that could be seen, and then many miles away, another group of people would look, and when they saw the fire burning, they would light their fire. And so it was that the signal fires told people to move from one place to the next, that the signal that the sun was returning, that the solstice had been achieved, that there was a return of life and hope, of warmth, of light. It was coming. I'm going to ask the question, if you had been in those days, if you had been sitting out on that cold mountaintop, if you had been sitting out with a few friends with a large bonfire ready to be lit, if you had been sitting out there on the top of that hill, probably freezing a bit, would you have been present to what was happening? Or do you think you'd let your mind wander? Do you think you'd get caught up in stories with the people around you? Do you think you'd begun to question, why am I even here? this is pointless, the sun's not going to come back, or the other alternative is, it's pointless because the sun's going to come back no matter what we do. But if you had been there, would you have been present enough to be scanning the eastern horizon? Would you have been one that would have said, light the fire, let others know that there's hope and there's light coming? Would you have been present enough to know that your act of kindling that single fire which would warm you soon would also spark other fires all across the range of hills? Would you have been absorbed in your own story, or would you have observed this larger story? Being present on the solstice means not just to find one's own hope or be lost in one's concerns, but moreover being willing to share the promise that is coming by taking action, lighting a fire, letting people know, saying a good word, giving a greeting, spreading light and hope. Would you have been present on that mountaintop? Or going forward a number of years, ancient Galilee, the town of Bethlehem. There's something going on here, and you're not quite sure what it is, but you know there's this couple out in the barn, and they're about to give birth. They're going to have their son. And there's no place else for them to be, but it's warm in there with all the animals and everything. And here's the question. Would you have been present with and to them? Would you have been willing to sit with Mary as she goes through labor and all the challenges and pain that that entails? Would you have stood with Joseph as he wondering what's happening with his wife? Would you have been present when that baby arrived and taken wonder at it? I know I, for one, every time I watch a birth, like on Call the Midwife, that miracle of a birth emerging into this world, I have to be present to it every single time. There's something magical, marvelous going on. But the question is, would you have stayed in the inn? Would you have stayed in the anteroom? Would you have looked away from what was happening? Or would you be present to this birth that would be remembered for millennia? Always the question, raised at Christmas, but also in so many other times in the year. Are you present when the momentous event is happening? Or are you somehow taken away, distracted, not involved? It's a question that ripples across all of history. If you're at the moment that matters, will you actually be present in that space? And how about the continuation of the story? We're told that many days later, 3 magi appeared from the east. They were astrologers. They were seeking after something had been foretold. But I'm wondering, if you had known those magi when they left their country back in the east, when they saw a star and started to travel, and if they had said to you, why don't you come with us? We have a wonderful story we're going to tell. We don't know the outcome. We just know there are signs and symbols. There are portents that tell us we need to be present somewhere else. Gathering up treasures, they began their journey. Would you have answered their call to go journeying to where the great mystery might be? Even today, are you willing to, at the call and behest of one of your acquaintances or friends, go to where you need to be? Would you have made that journey? Would you have gone in a different land? Would you have taken that trek? Nowadays, the trek may only be over to the hospital, or off to a house of a friend that needs you, or maybe onto the picket line on some event in town. But this time of year asks us, will we be present at those kind of events? Will we go even when the journey is hard? Will we go even when the journey is long? Will we go when we don't know the outcome? Will we go only on a matter of faith to where we are led by a promise of something greater than the usual life we've known? I also think about the wonderful celebration of Hanukkah. You know, the 8 days of the candles being lit. And I'm wondering, if you had been back in that befouled temple, that defiled temple, that ruined temple, that temple that had seen all kinds of terrible things done with it, if you had been there when the Maccabees reclaimed it, if you had been there when you found that maybe there would be enough oil to last one day, but you didn't know, if you had been there, would you have believed the possibility that that temple could once more be cleansed, the eternal flame relit? Would you have been present to sit there through the time necessary to prepare that temple to be a place of worship again? Or would you have been one of those like, no, not going to happen, I'm out of here, the Maccabees can handle it? Or maybe you doubt it, oh, there's no way that oil can last. Or maybe you would even want to dissociate yourself with everything that was going on because you knew those foreign forces would be back before long. And yet, each year, the candles are lit again. It's not a major Jewish celebration. It's not even mentioned in the Torah. It's in the Apocrypha that's added on in the book of Maccabees. But there it is, the invitation by a few people that transformed the path of history and then invite others to be hopeful enough that holiness, sanctity, and then even peace and meaning can come forth. Would you be present in that time, or would you choose to be elsewhere? In our lifetime, or at least my lifetime, there's been a new celebration in this season. And that celebration is Kwanzaa. You may not know that, in fact, the development of Kwanzaa was partially funded by Unitarian Universalist funds. And the development was to create a holiday that would celebrate the values of the African American experience, or actually the African experience, because often it got diluted by the time it got to America, but saying, what are the roots of the season? And the roots are not in actions. They are in values that inform actions. And as the Kinara is lit each night with different candles around the different values, the same question is asked. When these values come up, will you be present? Will you be present not only in your intellect, but also in your actions? Will you not only know the names of those values, but will you see them lived out day by day by you, by the community, by the world? How present are you in terms of values in your life? That's the question, really, that Kwanzaa asks. How present are you in your actions around the values you claim to hold? Tough one, isn't it? Think back to the last few days, perhaps, and ask yourself, was I always acting out of my values, or was I just acting? Was I present in a value way, or was I just going through life? And then there's the final moment in this season, when the year changes, the calendar flips again. 2025 is coming. And there's always this question about New Year's resolutions. I think there's only one real resolution, however. Are you going to be present in 2025 or be absent? And I don't mean physically absent. I mean present versus absent in terms of your whole being. I know many people each evening sit down with a gratitude journal and write details of what they're thankful for. Other people, like my wife Jane, records what she's done in the day with little commentary about the events and the people and what it's meant to her. She will, on New Year's Eve, sit down with her little notebook and read through with me what the year has been, where she has been present, because she never records where she's been absent. She only records where she has been, day by day across the 365 days. And then comes the challenge. The calendar flips, and a new year appears. How will it be that she will record her presence on this earth in the year to come? And so the question for all of us, how will we record our presence on this earth in the year to come? How will we matter in the scale of things? How will it be that others will remember we were here? How will it be that our actions will have significance? How will it be that our being made a difference? And so the season of presence, the season that invites each of us in our own way to not be somehow missing in action, but rather be here with each other, for each other, together with all, to be here as fully as we can, not in a competitive way that I'm here more than you are, but rather in the cooperative way by which we know that what we do, coupled with what other people do, makes a difference in this world. That we are present because that presence will shape what is going to be. And what is going to be will then in turn shape us. And if we're absent from that, if we're out of the loop, if we're not there, if we're not lighting the beacon fires on top of the hills, if we're not tending to the birth of new babies and new ideas, if we're not there bringing the gifts we have on faith from afar, if we're not in hope lighting those candles of possibility where there was no possibility, if we're not acting out of the values that we say are ours, if we are not there ready to write on a new chapter of the world in 2025, if we're not present, then who will be? What do we cede to the others by not seizing our presence? And so the wish of this season, whether it's expressed in ancient pagan stories, if it's expressed in Judeo-Christian history, if it's expressed in African values, if it's expressed just in the passage of time, the message comes. You've got this one chance. Don't miss it. Be present. Because if you miss it, you miss the great secret and all Christian history, if it's expressed in African values, if it's expressed just in the passage of time, the message comes. Do all that is. You've got this one chance to be. Amen. Miss it. Be present. Because to miss it will be to miss the great secret that all life and all being holds. May you be present to your life and therefore to all life and to all that is. Blessed be. Amen.
Reverend Randy Becker. So I had a bunch of back and forth yesterday with Randy, and once we got everything all straightened out, I said, Randy, can we pay you for this service? Because we pay our ministers. Randy said, no payment is needed. This is my gift to the congregation that supported and encouraged me in growing up. In fact, Randy has been with us a number of times. Randy has never accepted payment. Which brings us to hymn number 1015, again in your teal hymnal. I know I can. Hymn leaders, please.
It's an intentional kind of listening as well for ways that we might help. It's not necessarily asking that another being or another power intervene and fix things, but it's a finding within ourselves this light that we've been gifted with, each of us, and offering it as a gift to each other and to those who need more light, as a kind of transferring of love and light that we feel to another so that they might be held in the love and the warmth of the healing glow. And maybe they might need a spotlight to help them see more, and we might need it to help us see more of what needs to be done. And then finally, just waiting to see what becomes. See what becomes. So sometimes it may feel like this life we're living and this world we're in is like an ocean of darkness. and death. But in fact, there is an infinite ocean of light and love that flows over the ocean of darkness. And when we hold someone in the light, we're hoping, aren't we, to lift them up out of the ocean of darkness and into that yet more powerful and abundant ocean of light, love's radiant goodness. Amen. I'd like you each, all of us together, if we might, to just take a moment of silent meditation for a minute or so and focus on anyone, whether it's your own situation, someone else that you know and love and care about, or whether it's a situation in the world at large, and hold them in the light. Let us sit in silence. Amen.
Thank you, Bob. Bob has done this before. Not here. Maybe we can do something about that. Oh yeah, and because we pay our ministers and all the other bills and obligations that we are responsible for, we have an offering each week. Mary McGurl has some words.
These are our offering words. What will you take from this place today? Will it be the message, the music, the inspirational words? And can you leave a symbolic part of yourself, an offering of the willing will accepted with love and reverence?
The offering will be gratefully taken and received, I think. Yep, here they come.